Hello guys, welcome to today's tutorial. We'll be talking about HTML today. So this is what we're going to be learning. First of all, we'll talk about what HTML is, and I'll introduce us to the tools we need to get started, and then create our first web page. Yeah, so let's get to it. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. I like to use the building as an analogy for explaining everything about the website. Alright, so you have the HTML. The HTML is like the structure of the building. Alright, so before you add all the aesthetics, before you add your paintings, your furniture, and your roofing, you need a structure, right? You lay blocks and you raise them to a certain level. Alright, so you can think of that laying of block that happens in the foundation of all the structure of the building as HTML, because that's actually what it is. HTML is the structure and the foundation of your website or your page or your web page. In any case, right? So HTML uses tags, right? Tags or elements. You can interchange them. Most people call them tags, some people call them elements. I'm going to be using them interchangeably on this lesson, on this tutorial. And so tags help us impute certain things like text and images, and videos, even tables into our web page. Right. So the first thing we need to do is to have a text editor. So I highly recommend Visual Studio Code, VS Code. It's really popular and it does a lot of heavy lifting for us. Most people use Notepad. It comes with your computer for Windows, for example. And there are also other text editors like Sublime Text, right, and Vim also, right. But I highly recommend Visual Studio Code. Right, so the other things you need is just a browser. I'm sure everyone has a browser on their computer. You can use Chrome, you can use any of them, Firefox, but we'll be using Chrome for this tutorial. I'll be using Chrome, or I like to use Chrome. And the last thing is just a folder to store your files. Alright, so first thing I'm just going to show you. So if you go to your browser and you type in VS Code, you're going to see alright, so as you can see, it's already highlighted because I already clicked on it. So when you click on the link, it takes you to their platform. Now, depending on your operating system, it's going to detect. If you're on Mac, it's going to suggest for you to download for Mac. If you're on Windows, it's going to suggest for you to download on Windows. So you can just hit the download button and then it downloads, and then you can download and install and follow the prompt. Alright, so the next thing we'll be doing is I'll create a folder on my desktop, and I'm going to call it HTML lesson 1. Alright, so I'll take this guy and open it up on my VS Code. Alright, so this folder is empty. We are going to create our first file. We'll name it index.html. Alright, so HTML files come with the extension HTML. So whenever you see a file HTML, and most of the time in websites, index.html is mostly the root file. Right, that's the file that the browser uses to build up the website or a web page, whatever the case may be. So the first thing we are going to be doing is that we are going to be declaring our document type. Alright, so what this does is it tells the browser what version of HTML you're on. The second one is our HTML tag. This is going to be like the container for your entire structure, your entire index of HTML file. So it's like a container that houses every other thing you're going to be doing. So everything that has to do with a web page or website has to be inside this HTML tag. So there are a lot of them, but the most important for a start to know is one of them is the head tag. Alright, so the head tag is basically where you have information about your website. So you're going to have the title of your website in the head tag, and you're going to have metadata or description of your website using metadata on the head tag or inside the head tag. So everything that's inside the head tag doesn't appear on the page. Alright, so we could do title, and we can see this is our okay, let me keep it short. Let's see, first website. Alright, first website. Alright, and then just below this head tag we have our body tag. Right, so you can only have one head tag and one body tag. The body tag is what you see is the page. That's the page. So everything inside your body tag is going to appear when you open your browser and access a page. Alright, for example, let's use this heading tag H1. Alright, so H1 we're going to use it inside the body tag, and let's say hello world. Hello world. Alright, so if I save this and go to my desktop, open up that folder and then open up this guy, so you see hello world. Alright, so you don't see all the other things we did, on the head page, on the head tag. But every other thing that's inside the body tag is what appears here on your page. Now, we gave our web page a title. Alright, you could see it here, first website. Alright, first website. So yeah, that's basically it for setting up and writing your very first code. Thank you guys for joining. See you soon.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.